From the age of 10, Caleb Williams had a game plan to become the best quarterback of all time. With a focus and dedication rarely seen, he relentlessly chases that goal. Caleb chose Lincoln Riley and Oklahoma because it was the best program to get him to the NFL. As a freshman, he backed up Heisman hopeful Spencer Rattler. When he was thrown into the Texas game down 21, he had a plan for that and led OU to an historic Red River victory. Every time he looks at his phone, a reminder of his mantra, as well as the ultra-lofty college and NFL goals he's set for himself. His attention to detail, legendary. From hot yoga to his caloric intake, everything is neatly logged in an old-school notebook. But he also fully embraces revolution, like college free agency, following his coach to USC for his sophomore season. When notebook lines give way to gridiron lines, the meticulous planner becomes the magical playmaker.
Joystick on the move again. It's a highlight reel tonight.
Escaping, eluding, creating, commanding your focus. Caleb Williams blends solid fundamentals with inspired flair, but he's most proud of the grit to grind through a punishing loss to Utah. Hobbled and bleeding, but battling. Because even that, pushing away pain, making do on one leg, was something he had planned and prepared for, as was joining USC's Heisman Trophy Club. You could also plan for a pass rush, but no quarterback on Saturdays or Sundays is expected to be this tremendous under direct pressure.
Look at the numbers he put up. Second Pac-12 player with at least 30 passing touchdowns and 10 rushing touchdowns in the season. The other, Marcus Mariota, who had quite a season in 2014. Walker Camp Player of the Year, Caleb Williams.
Joining me to present the Player of the Year award is Kevin Simbathy, GM of David McDermott Lexus of New Haven, and our winner is Caleb Williams of USC. Yeah.
First off, thank you everybody for being here, and I want to start off by thanking the Walter Camp, and everybody that's kind of helped me get here. My parents, my mentors, Coach Riley, all of my teammates. I wouldn't be standing up here without them. I wouldn't be having this lovely award without them, and so. That's where I want to start off. And then next, a little advice is, for some of the younger people in here, and then a bunch of my colleagues behind me, is make sure in your journey that you find people that that love you and just want the best version of you, and they want that for you, and that's it, nothing else from you. The next thing is something that I go by, and as you saw my journey. When I first got to college is change your dreams and change your habits. And at that time, I didn't actually know those words. I couldn't put that phrase in my mind. That's kind of just what I did. And a little story, a little background is that at the time, I feel like I got there. I worked really hard. I learned the playbook extremely fast. I was trying my best at everything I could. I was trying to beat out the guy in front of me. I understood the situation that was at hand, and it didn't really matter to me because of all the hard work that I put in before, that I really believed in myself. And so there was a time that I actually wasn't starting. I felt like I should have been on the field a lot more if not starting. And so I go up to Coach throughout the season. I'm asking questions. I'm trying to figure out how to get on the field. And obviously it happened at some point. But he told me keep going, and something in my head kind of related back to the change your habits or change your dreams. And at the time, I wasn't in a position where I wanted to be. And I said this before, I damn sure weren't going to change my dreams. So I changed a few habits. And, it came down to the sixth game, I believe. And I ended up coming in. We came back. And from there on out, I made sure that the guy behind me at that point was not going to get his job back. And that was my mindset about it. And it all kind of goes back to like I keep saying, this phrase that I live by now is change your dreams or change your habits, because it's something that's been molded in me from my parents, my mentors, and now my coaches. And I am extremely grateful for them, and extremely grateful for this opportunity to be up here in front of everybody. So thank you. Fight on.
By the way, Caleb's talking about specifically the guy that was in front of him. He was projected to be the #1 quarterback in the NFL draft in Spencer Rattler, and Caleb changed the entire course of Oklahoma that season in 2021, coming in that Texas game and turning everything around. How do you get better? You win the Heisman. You're the Walter Camp Player of the Year. How do you get better here this offseason in your mind?
Yeah, I believe that I have all the physical traits to do something really cool. But the thing is, I understand that I don't know enough about football. There's a lot more that I don't know. There's a lot more that I'm reaching for and striving for. I ask Coach Riley multitude of different questions every single chance that I get about the same play possibly that I've been going over the past 3 years now. It could be a simple 3-man route, and it's something that we practice probably 800 times a practice, or ran about 100 times throughout the season. I still ask some questions about how can this be ran, or when should I check it, or different looks from the defense, and the constant effort and energy to try and get better, and want to be your best, because I have not won a national championship yet, and that is on my mind very heavily this year. And so pushing to be your best out there, not only for your guys, but also yourself.
Well said right there. That was a phenomenal answer. I was about to say, I'm 17 years at ESPN. I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago, and I told him after the interview, hey, anytime you want to come in the studio after this is done, you got the job, because he could be on TV just like that. The way he handles that. You're projected to be the first player taken in the draft in 2024. When you hear stuff like that, guys like me bring that up. Do you put pressure on yourself? What is your mindset when you hear the expectations? Because you're going to hear it over the next 13 months.
Yeah, it comes with the lay of the land, understanding, if you're going to work hard for something, try and be the best. And so being the first pick is, you saw it up there, it's on my goals at some point. And whenever that comes, that's when it'll be there. And I'm preparing for this season to go win this national championship. And I always look back at the LSU season, about how, Joe Burrow and all those guys, they weren't #1 picks, they weren't this and that. And, you go win a national championship, and look what it does for your whole team. Everybody got drafted on offense and defense, special teams, and things like that. So, trying to focus on winning this national championship this year, and, the steps to, what it takes to get there.
Phenomenal answer again. You went through some adversity here with the fingernails. Yeah, and we won't talk too much about that, but what did you learn from that process?
Yeah, the fingernails, I'm still going to do it. It's one of my things, but maybe change a few things I've done on them. I do have, younger children and families that, watch me, and they've been televised, my nails and things like that. So going to change it up a little bit, but it's still one of my things. I think it's really cool, and, go out there and like Deion said, feel good, look good, play good, so.
I appreciate that, especially with the cream tuxedo tonight. Favorite thing this past season? Is there a moment? Is there a game? Is there a win? Is there something we don't see that you experienced?
I give you 3 things. The accountability from our players was one of the biggest things. Coming in, you look at a team that was 4-8. And how fast it turned around. A lot of it comes from accountability, and a lot of it comes from our teammates, my teammates. Making sure everybody's doing their 1/11th and their part throughout the team. And then I can't lie, the two big moments. One of them's Notre Dame, because here's why though. Here's why, y'all. Y'all were actually none of the guys have actually beaten Notre Dame in the past 5 years, and so we. Andrew Voorhees, who's actually supposed to be around and things like that, but had an ACL, but he's a warrior. And he stood up in front of the team and he asked the whole team, how many of us have beat Notre Dame in the past 5 years since you've been here? And absolutely nobody raised their hand. And so being able, after beating Notre Dame, sitting back in the locker room, I didn't even celebrate. I just sat back and just watched the whole team celebrate because it was a really cool experience to be able to, bring that experience to everybody else and be a part of it. And then UCLA, of course. Yeah, got to be UCLA. It was the last one. And that was just a special game.
Beat your two biggest rivals. Caleb, thank you so much.